Hi, everybody, and welcome back to La Capricornia with me, Priscilla Moreno. For this episode, I do want to go over how you can reflect and the things you should reflect on. So, as we all know, it's the end of the year, and it's that time where I really feel like we all need to look at our accomplishments in this past year. I feel like we're so quick to jump forward and say, hey, this is what I want to do this year. This is what, my list is. This is the goals. And that's totally fine to do. There's nothing wrong with that. But I also do feel like we need to reflect. We need to see what was good this year. And I had mentioned this in one of my Instagram stories, but sometimes, we get these accomplishments and then we're like, okay, you know, this is just step one. I'm not going to celebrate yet. I'm going to celebrate later. And then by the time it's all finished, you haven't even celebrated this accomplishment at all. So it'll just give you like that little push that you need maybe to celebrate, to feel good about yourself. And then on top of that, as you're looking at it, maybe there's something you can build on top of it, or there's something that you can do better to help you get to that goal. Because even starting off, you guys, is an accomplishment, right? Because anything takes action. So if you're taking that action already, even if you haven't gotten to this end goal, that is still something to be excited about because, hey, you had the willpower to do it. You pushed yourself, you changed your mindset, and you said, I'm going to go after this. And that is definitely noteworthy and definitely something you should look back on. So what I did to kind of help me at work, the way I track the things that I accomplish is I track everything monthly, right? Because I have to write my own review. So I'm really taking this as in I'm writing my own review just for my own personal life. So at work, like I said, I do it every month. I say, hey, this is what we met. This is what I did. This were the results. And I don't get super detailed, but I, go pretty into it. And then I reflect on it. And sometimes I'll realize, sorry guys, and sometimes I realize when I reflect on it that I missed something or I forgot something or there was something else that I did. And the reasoning why sometimes like I'll miss things is because sometimes for me, something as simple as maybe implementing a change is just so easy for me, right? I'm like, oh, this is what we have to do. We have to implement this change. And to me, it's so normal. It's part of my job. And I don't see it as in like, oh, this is a huge accomplishment. But then what came out of that change, right? So now we're doing so much better in our, this area, and this area. And it's all because of this change you implemented. And again, sometimes I think you're just like, especially like for me working where I have worked at for so long and honestly knowing my job, down to like the little last detail, I sometimes tend to just say like, oh yeah, like it was good. Like I am not upset by the numbers because they can be amazing numbers, but then at the same time I'm like, it was expected. And it's fine that I expected it, but it's something to be proud about because hey, we did amazing. We came in with the right numbers. It was awesome. And the same thing can happen in your personal life. I know for me, and I'm pretty sure every mom does this, but I tend to like really be hard on myself, as a mom, like, oh, my kids don't have this or they didn't have that, or, I'm working to get them to here or to get this for them. And I can be so hard on myself about all that stuff. And, it's just something that comes with being a parent, you know? And when I was reflecting on parts of my lives, like I even included that part of it, like, okay, what did I do for my kids in that time? Or what was something that I felt like was good for them? And there were so many different things just that came with what I was looking at. And, it made me feel like better about myself. It helped me even feel better as a mom, like I am doing the right thing. Not saying that I wasn't, because in honesty, like personally, when I really look at it, I feel like I'm a great mom, especially with my kids, and I feel everyone is a great parent with their kids because each kid is different. Each parent is different. And, obviously the way we raise them and things like that, that relationship just clicks. And I definitely feel like I'm in a great spot with my kids And when I was looking at it, I was kind of like, okay, well, they got this, or I gave them this, or they had enough for this. And not even just like material things, just, whether it's spiritually, like my daughter, I implemented affirmations every morning. So every morning as I'm walking her to the school, sometimes if we're in the car already, I'll start telling her like, you're beautiful, you're amazing, you're intelligent, you're going to have a great day. I hope whatever challenges, come your way, you're going to get over them. So I start telling her all these things, and she loves it. She loves it. She's all smiling, and sometimes she says them back. Most of the time she does, but sometimes she doesn't. It's fine. She's super tired in the morning. And I do the same thing with my son, as I'm turning into the parking lot to drop him off, because he usually likes to listen to his music as we're driving. So as I turn into the parking lot, I'll start telling him like all these things to kind of help build him up, give him that momentum for his day, that positive momentum. And I see the difference in that, it's something that I started because it helps me out. And, I just kind of want to give it to them and, kind of start them off on it. And I just love to see how that's building them up every day, whether that's them having a great day or, a week or month, whatever. I'm not saying every day is a perfect day, but I mean, they seem happy, and they've told me they like, that little implementation that I did with them, and they love it, and it can be like something little like that. So, that's an accomplishment, and it's something, again, because I had started doing it, I want to say, sometime in the beginning of the year, it just became so like, oh, it's just something we do every day. So at that time for me, I'm like, oh, it's just another day. It's just this thing I do every morning, when really it's doing a lot of positive things. And, um again, whether it's even with yourself, whether it's at your home, you definitely have to like find accomplishments in everything. Even when things go wrong, there are positives in everything, and sometimes it doesn't come right away, and it's not so easy to see, but there are accomplishments in everything, you guys. I had a friend of mine who reached out to me, was telling me just, they were having a rough time with something. They're explaining it, and then they were explaining what they were trying to do. And one thing that I did express to him, which is funny because I think I've told a couple people this already, is if something is really, if you're being pushed, basically, it feels like, hey, this is just not working out. It doesn't matter which way I go at it, this and that. I'm being pushed to make a change. I'm feeling frustrated. I'm having, all these things, the feeling, the physical, the mental, everything is just not working out. And I feel we're in a time where if you're resisting change, like you're gonna get pushed to it. Like it's not even just like as in, hey, maybe you should try this. Like, no, I feel like your guides are telling you like you need to make this change. And with that, again, it's not going to be an easy time, especially when you're like clashing and clashing and clashing because you're not wanting to change. So, that's where oh my gosh, I was just so frustrated. It was just such a hard time. But hey, when you redirected yourself and you started doing better, it might not have been easy, but you pushed through that. And sometimes we don't get the little pushbacks, you know what I mean? Like we don't give credit for ourselves because again, it's like, oh, well, I just didn't have this at the time and now I have it. Like, didn't seem like that big of a deal, but hey, you worked your butt off to get this, or you know, you had to even do that redirection. So definitely give yourselves credit, look at those positives. I really do hope that everybody takes on that challenge, looks at the positives, and basically give yourself like a self-review. And you don't have to tell anyone. You could write it down, you could just make a video, you could, whatever it is, whatever you're comfortable with. I definitely would love to see you tell yourself like your accomplishments, feel good, and realize that, hey, this was just not another year. Like you had so much and you contributed so much, whether it was to yourself, whether it was to others, and in any different way. So I hope that conversation did help you guys out and is bringing positivity. And if you guys want to share any of your positives, accomplishments, anything that went great, anything you did that just is amazing, definitely want to hear it. So if you guys want to put it down in the comments, I would definitely love to read it and reply to you all. Okay, so I am now going to pull your cards. So the first card is Justice in reverse. So I feel like we got this one last week, or maybe it was the monthly one, I can't remember. But I am still feeling like the choices that you're making now are gonna last you long term. But I also feel like you're being harsh on these choices. Like I just feel like you're it's almost like you know you have to do something, but you're kind of holding back a little bit, because I do feel like you have these choices. You have these choices. It's gonna be a long-term thing. There's consequences, or whether that's positive or negative. Don't take it negative just because I say the word consequence. Um, but there's something coming out of this, and I feel like you have to make the choices. You have to go in this way, but I also feel like you're still kind of like lost in it a little bit. I don't know how to explain it. It almost kind of feels like not like a limbo, but kind of, I guess, kind of like I was explaining even in my video right now, was that sometimes we're being forced to make the change. Like we're being forced to make the change. I feel like if you don't take this chance, you're gonna get pushed towards it regardless. Like it's gonna work one way or another, whether it's this way or this way. It's gonna have to work. Okay, and the next card is the Chariot in reverse. It is telling you that basically what I just said is that you're the only person that can make yourself fail. Like I feel like if something doesn't work out, and I'm not saying that it isn't, it's because you didn't put the effort into it. Like you didn't have that mindset. You didn't push for it. And obviously if it works out, it's because you did this. And I know sometimes it can be hard because not everything comes easy. So just this personal experience that I had is I made a choice that is actually similar to this, and it's a long-term choice. It's was very scary, everything like that. And at the end of the day, if I didn't choose it, I wasn't gonna get it. So if I didn't push for it, if I didn't finally say like, hey, let me at least figure out if it's a yes or no, let me see what's going on with this, I wasn't gonna get it. And I do feel like it's you. Like at the end of the day, you cannot blame anyone for things not working out except for yourself. And again, it's your mindset, it's your everything. Are you manifesting? Don't, just because you see this coming doesn't mean like, hey, you got to cut it all off. Like you definitely have to keep manifesting. You have to keep wanting, you have to keep pushing. I just like my other episode, like start feeling it down to your soul, finding your whys, acting it out, or just pretending in your head your scenarios, things like that. Like imagine that you have that. Keep it going. Don't let it go. Do not let it go. Do not get scared. It's not gonna be easy, you guys. You have to put in some work, but you're gonna get it, but it's gonna be like I don't know how to explain this. It's gonna be hard, but it's gonna be like an easy hard, if that makes any sense. Like it's gonna require you to take action and do some things, but it's gonna be easy as you go through. I feel like you're gonna almost, and I guess maybe this is where it's coming from, like it's mostly in your head. It's more of a mental struggle you're having. It's not a physical one. Like I feel like once you start taking action and you're like, hey, I'm gonna do this, it starts coming to you. And then, okay, now I got to do this. Okay, now it's working out. Okay, I got to do this, and at the end of the day, it was your mentality saying, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. Like that was your mentality. So I definitely think that, like I said, it's you holding yourself back. And you have the Tower again. So again, do not be scared. I feel like you're building something. I feel like this is going to be a huge change. This is going to be a huge change. And it might look scary. It might look like all these things, but I do feel like it's going to be long term. It's going to affect you. Like I said, it's not going to be easy. And it's going to be like a new journey as well. So I feel like, hey, it's not that this tower's on fire anymore. I feel like you're rebuilding it already. Like I feel like this tower's already done and you're just rebuilding. Definitely getting that vibe. And the guided card is spiritual gifts, which again, I can't remember if it's the monthly or the last one you guys that you got this card, but I do feel like there are a lot of messages out there. And I'm not even kidding with you guys. Like I think I mentioned this in some of my videos on my Instagram when I post the stories, but I have been seeing like so many numbers, especially since I made the choice that I'm making right now. I have been seeing so many numbers, and it's always at the time where like I get like a little nervous. So I'll be kind of like, oh my gosh, am I doing the right thing? And then like it's either I glance on my phone, and then it always has to do with like 7-11, 8-11, 9-11. It always has the 11, which honestly for me, yes, the first number can mean something, which it can as a whole, but for me the 11 is definitely like the thing that keeps repeating, right? So I feel like the 11 is what's calling to me. And and it's not just like that I'm looking for it, like, you know what I mean? Because sometimes I'm like, oh, I have this, what time is it? Because I have to be on this call, and then I'll look, and then I'm like, oh, okay, like that's the time it is. Or I'm trying to tell somebody like, oh, give me like 10 minutes, and I'll look at my phone just to see what time it is so I can make sure I get back to them in 10 minutes. And it's like the 11's there, it's always there. And then of course my 818 definitely has been so huge, which is funny because as I'm kind of going through it, I feel like every single time I have like I know the other ones do too, but 818 is so big, especially it always comes with a message. Sorry, I was trying to get that out there. So it always comes with a message, you know, and it's a lot more faster. Like I'll see it, and then someone will tell me something or say something, or it just comes right away. As in the other ones, I feel like it's more like trying to calm me down, I guess, kind of thing, because I'll kind of have stuff in my head and I'll see it, and it's kind of like that remembrance of like, hey, I'm here with you. It's definitely what I'm feeling when it comes to that number. And you guys can Google and find your own explanations for whatever you're seeing. It doesn't always have to be what the Google search says either, because to be very honest with you, if you're seeing something, you're getting certain vibes, like it could be like that's the message that is coming your way. And I don't know, I just feel like we're getting a lot of messages right now. And I really don't talk too much on some of my beliefs that I have or anything like that, but I do want to also share this, you guys, is I don't know about you guys, but who has been feeling a shift, like a total and complete shift in their world? And I'm not just talking about like everything that's going on the outside. I'm just talking about even just like, you by yourself. Like I definitely have been feeling like a shift in the way that I'm feeling, the way that I'm seeing things, the way that I'm kind of, getting certain messages and stuff like that. I feel like there was a shift, and it's a really good thing. So if anybody else knows what I'm talking about or understands that, feel free to reach out and let me know what your idea of this shift was. Definitely for me, it has been more of the way that I see my reality and the way that I'm kind of like manifesting certain things. So that's it for me, you guys. Let me know if that message helped, or just comment anything at all. But have a good week, and next week I am going to be doing basically a tarot message for the year, and I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I might sneak in the January one as well, just because I won't be doing a video the following week. It's going to be my birthday weekend, and I will be out of town, and it's going to be really hard to try to record. But have a great week, like I said, and bye-bye.